This is Coach Lee. A lot of people ask if their ex knows that they still love them. And that seems like something that a lot of people are concerned with, is if the ex knows how you still feel and that you still want them back. It's understandable because you rightly know that your ex needs to know that there's at least some hope to get back together with you for them to actually make a move toward that happening. For example, sometimes people will be really cold toward their ex. They'll ignore them and that kind of thing because they think that's what they're supposed to do, even though it's counterintuitive. And those people will often be very frustrated or concerned because they will hear from their ex, they'll get a text or they'll get a call, but they won't respond. Or they will respond with something really mean or really cold, and then they don't hear from their ex again. And so they will say to me, I did all the right things. I don't understand. One person told me that she had ignored her ex-boyfriend 3 times. He had reached out 3 different times in about a week. She had not even responded. And so she asked me, what do you make of that? It's just a mystery why he would stop reaching out. I'm not really sure what she expected to happen, because if there's nothing coming back to him, he's not accomplishing anything. When he's reaching out, she had an opportunity to make some progress and maybe get back together with him. But when you mistreat someone as far as just ignoring them, which is one of the worst things you could do, ignoring someone is even worse than yelling or arguing or bickering, just not even responding to them. And I have lots of videos about that. But people will do things like that and then wonder why they stop hearing from their ex. And their ex just doesn't seem to care anymore and moves on with their life. Well, it's because they think that you won't talk to them and they're tired of being rejected. People don't like to be rejected. So remember that when your ex is contemplating the relationship, the breakup, and they're trying to decide, it's important that there be some hope, that they have the capacity and the ability to see some progress, even though there still needs to be some reservation. So you're right about that if that's what you're thinking. But sometimes people go in the other direction, and their concern is, how does my ex feel? I don't want them to feel hurt that I didn't reach out on their birthday. I don't want them to feel like I could move on, or that it could be a little bit challenging to get me back. And that's the wrong side of the equation too. Either extreme is bad, because if you're all concerned and you want your ex to know that you still love them and would take them back, what you're actually doing is you're giving them a really easy breakup. You are enabling them to be broken up with you because there's no consequences for their actions. They can break up with you, and yet the whole time there's no mystery. They figure they could get you back at any second. And so to the question of this video, does your ex know that you still love them? In studying the psychology of an ex for a long time now, shortly after a breakup especially, I can tell you that their assumption is that you still love them, that you want to get back together, and that you would take them back. And many people make the mistake of thinking just the opposite. That's why people will tell me, well, yes, they broke up with me, but I wanted to keep the lines of communication open. I wanted them to know that I still love them. I wanted them to know that I would take them back. People will tell me that, and they don't seem to understand the mind of their ex. Because your ex already assumes that it would be easy to get you back. And the reason for that is because they broke up with you. They put themselves in the position of being more attractive and you as less attractive, and they dismissed you. Now that can go away, and it often does. Sometimes it goes away and the ex becomes afraid that they've blown it with you, and that's actually a good position to be in. And that's what they should feel, because breaking up with you was a bad thing. They did a bad thing to you. They were willing to give away what they had with you, and you cannot act as though that is simply nothing. At the same time, you cannot be mean and cold to them. And so walking that path to reattracting your ex involves giving them just a little bit of hope and progress to the point that they don't give up and stop. That's, of course, when your ex is actually making movement towards you. If you haven't heard from your ex and you're wondering if your ex knows that you still care and love them, the answer is probably yes. It's when they start reaching out to you that they are wondering about that. And so the silence from them actually tells you most of the time that they assume you still want them back and you still love them. Obviously, I can't speak to every single situation, but I'm giving you a general picture. And that is, most exes walk around with the type of arrogance that says they could get you back at any moment. That's why the no contact rule can be so powerful, because since you aren't acting like someone who wants them back, you aren't acting like someone who's concerned or who is still in love with them, that's where the mystery can pull them in to try to get the answer. And that's when they can also have to reconsider the breakup. And that's when they can realize maybe that they took you for granted. Again, it doesn't work in absolutely every situation. And some people will say, well, don't give people false hope. And I'm not doing that. I say in most of my videos, it doesn't always work. I can't think of anything at all that works in every single situation. But I can tell you that in 20 years, I've seen it work a lot. I've seen no contact work a lot to at least have the ex reconsider and reach out to you and maybe, hopefully, set up a face-to-face, and things can be in motion that can help the two of you get back together. And that's a great thing if you want your ex back. Take a quick second and click the subscribe button below so you can be notified when I have more videos like this. Videos like this one where I'm talking about your ex knowing that you love them, because they probably do. You don't have to reach out. You don't have to tell them. You don't have to remind them. As a matter of fact, you want them to be a little bit concerned. And that's where a lot of the problem comes in, is that when you try to alleviate any discomfort regarding this breakup from your ex, you actually do yourself a disservice if you want your ex back, because you're actually making them more comfortable in the breakup. So your concern should not be to make your ex comfortable. Now, that's a loving response. That usually means you have a lot of empathy and that you're a great relationship partner, and it shows that you still care and love your ex. But you actually want them to have some discomfort. So just like the adult child who still doesn't have a job and whose parents are paying for every expense, you're teaching that person that they don't have to go get a job, they don't have to provide for themselves, that someone else will, and that that's okay. And so you don't want to teach your ex that if they break up with you, that you will assure them every moment that they could get you back whenever they want you, that there's no consequences to their actions, you will love them permanently forever, and that the door will always be open. That may be true. You may feel that way, but you cannot let your ex think that, partly because it's not fair to you, and you should respect yourself. You should be fair to yourself. And so in some ways, you're sticking up for yourself by, even though you don't feel this way, showing your ex that you will not always be available to be gotten back, and that you will move on, even though you don't want to and you don't feel that way. And so in some ways, you're kind of acting like a third party here in defense of yourself, and that's a good thing. But some people think that if the ex is concerned that you don't love them, that could actually keep the ex from coming back, when just the opposite is almost always true. You want your ex to be concerned. You want your ex to feel like that they made a mistake that possibly could cost them something they want, and that's you. And it takes some time for them to get over that relief stage right after breaking up with you, where they can actually look back at the relationship, see that it was good, and when you couple that with them thinking that they might have blown it with you, that they could lose you, and you showing them you can stay away is a really good start, that's when it can actually matter to them. Because true, right after the breakup, they don't care if you don't want to get back together with them. They have this time after the breakup where they're just happy it's over because they haven't experienced the actual breakup. And so you have to give them that. You have to show them that you could move on, and by staying strong and no contact, you can show them that you can. They know they're on the clock, and they don't know where on the clock they are. That's very important. So the answer, does your ex know that you still love them? If you're asking that question, the answer is almost certainly yes. So you don't have to worry about that anymore. They assume that you do. And really, you want to push against that and poke holes in that so that there's some doubt. And that's going to give you the best chance of getting your ex back. I talk about that and a lot of other things in my emergency breakup kit, which is a guide to help you get your ex back. There's a link to it in the description below, and you can take a look at it at myexbackcoach.com.